Hello, good afternoon to all my dear students. Today I am here to discussing about sense organs from NEB course of class 12. In sense organ, dear students, we will discuss about two sense organs of our body. They are eyes and ear. First of all, eyes. Look at the picture of eyes in this slide, please. You can see three layers of eyes, that choroid, sclera, retina. Inside the retina, you can see vitreous humor, and there is a lens which is adjusted by ciliary bodies, and in front of lens you can see here aqueous humor. It is also a fluid, and that lens, in front of lens you can see iris. My dear students, now what is the function of these all organelles? I will discuss serially in my slides. Now let's discuss about the eyes. The human eyes is a complex optic instrument. Its main goal is to transfer the correct image to the optic nerve. Eye is a hollow spherical body having 2.5 cm diameter and located in the eye orbit of skull. The eye orbit is the bony cavity that contains the eyeball, muscles, nerves, and blood vessels. Each orbit is a pear-shaped structure that is formed by several bones. Eye is protected by eyelids and eyebrows from raindrops, dust, insect, and germs. The eyeball is divided into two sections, each of which is filled with the fluid. The front section extends from the inside of the cornea to the front surface of the lens. It is filled with a fluid called the aqueous humor, which nourishes the internal structure. The back section extends from the back surface of lens to the retina. It contains a jelly-like fluid called the vitreous humor. The pressure generated by these fluids maintains its shape. Normally, the aqueous humor is produced in the posterior chamber, flows slowly through the pupil into the anterior chamber, and then drain out of the eyeball through outflow channels located where the iris meet the cornea. Now, let's discuss about the cornea. Cornea is the transparent coat covering the front part of the eyes. It has no blood vessels, but its refraction is great. It is part of eye optic. Now, anterior chamber. Anterior chamber is a space between cornea and iris. It is filled with ocular fluid. Iris looks like a circle with an opening in the middle, which is also called the aperture or the pupil. Iris consists of muscles that change the pupil size by constricting and relaxing. It is a part of the eye choroid. Iris is responsible for the color of the eyes. If it is blue, this means it contains a few pigment. If brown, it contains a lot of pigment. Its function is same as of aperture in a camera to adjust light flow. Pupil is an aperture in iris. The more light, the smaller the pupil. Now, turn off the crystalline lens. It is the eye natural lens. It is transparent, elastic, can change its shape, focusing in almost instantly. Therefore, one can see well both near and far. It is located in a capsule and is withheld by ciliary body. The crystalline lens, like cornea, is a part of the eye optic. Now I am going to discuss about the gland present in the ear, eye, that is meibomian gland. It secretes oily substances to lubricate eyelids for blinking. And next gland is lacrimal gland. That gland is secrete alkaline tear to clean eyes. Eyes layers. Now there are the three layers in the eyes. They are the retina, choroid and sclera. The retina consists of the photoreceptors and nerve cells. There are two types of the receptor cells in retina, that is cones and rods. These cells produce rhodopsin enzyme, transform light energy into the electrical energy or neural tissue. Photochemical reaction takes place in that pigment. Rods or rod cells have the high light sensitivity and allow seeing in poor light. They are also responsible for periphery vision. Rods are more numerous than the cones and much more sensitive to light, but they do not register color or contribute to detail central vision as the cones do. Cones adversely need plenty of light for functioning but allow to distinguish small details and ensure color application. Cones are responsible for sharp detail central vision and color vision and are clustered mainly in the macula. Now turn off sclera, second layer. The outer covering of the eyeball consists of relatively tough white layer called the sclera. It is the non-transparent outer coat of the eyeball, and in the frontal part of the eye, it verges into the transparent cornea. 6 eye muscles are attached to it. It contains a few nerve terminal and vessels. The sclera is covered by the thin transparent membrane which runs to the edge of the cornea. The conjunctiva also cover the moist back surface of the eyelid and eyeballs. Now my dear students, I am going to discuss about the next layer of the eyes, that is choroid. Choroid adjoins the retina and is closely linked to it. Choroid is responsible for blood supply or interocular structure, and with retina disorder it is usually involved in the pathology process. Choroid has no nerve terminus, therefore when there is a trouble there is no pain, which usually alarms about the problem in the eyes. Now turn off optic nerve. Each photoreceptor is linked to a nerve fiber. The nerve fiber from the photoreceptors are bundled together to form the optic nerve. The photoreceptor in the retina convert the real and inverted image into electrical signals, which are carried to the brain by the optic nerve. Working of eyes. Light enters the eye through the cornea, the clear curved layer in the front of the iris and the pupil. The cornea serves as the protective covering for the front of the eyes and also helps focus light on the retina at the back of the eye. After passing through the cornea, light travels through the pupil. The iris control the amount of the light that enters the eyes. The pupil dilate and constrict like the aperture of the camera lens as the amount of light in the immediate surrounding chance. The iris allows more light into the eye when the environment is dark. The iris allows less light into the eye when the environment is bright. The size of pupil is controlled by the action of pupillary sphincter muscles and dilator muscles. Behind the iris side, the lens, by changing its shape, the lens focuses light onto the retina. Through the action of small muscles, the lens becomes thicker to focus on nearby object and thinner to focus on distant object. The retina contains the cell that sense light and the blood vessels that nourish them. The most sensitive part of the retina is a small area called the macula, which has millions of tightly packed photoreceptors. The high density of cone in the macula makes the visual image detail, just as the high resolution digital camera has more megapixels, like as the camera it does. Its photoreceptor is linked to a nerve fiber. The nerve fibers from the photoreceptors are bundled together to form the optic nerve. The optic disc, the first part of the optic nerve, is at the back of the eye. The photoreceptor in the retina convert the real and inverted image into the electrical signal, which are carried to the brain by optic nerve. Some of the eye diseases mentioned here, that myopia, in which the patient can see the near object only. So, to cure this, we should use the concave lens. Hypermetropia, in which patient can see the far object only. So, convex lens is used. Presbyopia, it is failure of accommodation of eye during old age. So, bifocal lens is used. Astigmatism, partial rays focused in the right in this condition, due to which cylindrical lens is used. Cataract, in which the lens become opaque and surgical operation is needed to cure it. Glaucoma, or it is also called the jalabindu, and it is the defect in which drain out excess aqueous humor from the eyes. So operation is needed to solve it, or sometimes some drugs also can cure this disease. Now the turn of next sense organ, human ear. That human ear, you can see in this figure that from the outer part you can see the pinna, which is just like as the funnel, and it collect the wave from the sources, different sources of the sound. And you can see here the tympanic cavity, external auditory canal, and different types of the bone malleus, incus, stems. And inside the eyes, there you can see semicircular canal, vestibular nerve, and so on. Now, my dear students, what are the function and location of these ear organs, ear organelles? I am going to explain here. Human ear mainly consists of three sections. They are the outer ear, middle ear, and the inner ear. Outer ear. The outer ear consists of the pinna and the external auditory canal. Pinna consists of the auricular cartilage, which you can see from the outer part, and skin, which allows for the flexibility and elasticity. It collects sound wave. The auricular cartilage is flattened, cone-shaped, covered by skin on both sides, more tightly on the middle or concave side than the convex side. External auditory canal is a tubular, about 2.5 cm long. It is supported by cartilage in its exterior region and by bone in the interior region. At its inner boundary, there is a stretched oval bluish-gray membrane called the eardrum. It is capable for vibration in response of sound wave. It consists of waxy gland which secrete the wax for lubrication of the eardrum. Also protect eardrum from dust and some insects which try to enter in our ear. Now, middle ear. The middle ear consists of the tympanic cavity, the auditory vesicles, and the eustachian tube. The boundary between the middle and the inner ear is the oval window. It is called the oval window. The auditory vesicles are attached to the wall of the tympanic cavity by many ligaments and mucosal folds. The tympanic cavity is located within the petrous temporal bone and can be divided into dorsal, middle, and ventral parts. Dorsal or epitympanum containing two or the of the auditory ossicles, the malleus and the incus. Malleus is the hammer-shaped largest ossicle of the bone, and incus is anvil-shaped ossicles. Middle or mesotympanic tympanum bounded by the tympanic membrane laterally and containing the third auditory ossicles, that is stapes, which is the smallest ear ossicles, which is attached to the oval window of ear. It opens into the nasopharynx by the Eustachian tube. Eustachian tube is that tube which connects the pharynx and middle ear. Ventral or hypotympanium or fundic cavity, which is the largest compartment, it is housed by the tympanic vulva, which is the thin-walled vulvous expansion of the temporal bone. My dear students, see here the middle ear, that which contain the three ear ossicles, malleus, incus, and steps. Malleus is hammer-shaped, incus anvil-shaped. Now tone of inner ear, or it is also called membranous labyrinth. The inner layer is delicate and complicated structure which consists of vestibule, semicircular canal, and cochlea. Now, vestibule, a chamber in the center of the bony lambertia which communicate with both the cochlea and the semicircular canal. The oval and round windows are both located in the lateral wall of the vestibule. It contains the receptor organ involved with balancing the body, containing the sacculus, otricus, and the semicircular duct. The sacculi and the otricle contain sensory macula within their walls and their sensory cristae within the ampulla of the semicircular duct. The maculae and the ampullae sense and conduct impulses concerned with balance by the vestibular nerves. The three semicircular ducts arises from the otricle and the cochlear duct arises from the sacculi. Semicircular canals. It contains the semicircular duct which have arisen from the otricle of the vestibular labyrinth. There are three semicircular canals. They are almost at right angle with each other. Each duct has two cura, leg-like parts. One cura of each duct has an ampulla, which is an expansion of the duct. Movement of the endolymph stimulates receptor cell within the ampulla. You can see here that membranous labyrinth, that sacculus you can see here, ampulla you can see here, otricolus you can see here, cochlea you can see here, that which I have discussed in the previous slide. These are the parts of the membranous labyrinthia or the inner part of the ear. Now turn of cochlea. It forms a spiral around the central hollow core of the bone called the modulus, which contains the cochlear nerve. The spiral lamina project into the spiral canal, partially bisecting the lumen into two parts, which are called the scala tympani and the scala vestibuli. The scala media is in between these two parts. It contains the organ involved with hearing. It consists of the organ of corti within the cochlear duct. The cochlear duct is fluid filled, the fluid bearing endolymph. The organ of corti contains the receptor cell for hearing. You can see here the figure of the cochlea. You can see a resinor membrane here. tectorial membrane, endolymph, that is a fluid, ligaments, organ of Corti, which have the sensory ear for the hearing, and basilar membrane, bony labyrinthia. You can see that bony labyrinthia is also the part of inner ear. Now the mechanism of hearing. How can we listen the sound? Here is mentioned, please. The human ear is divided into three sections: the outer, middle and the inner ear, and plays an important role in hearing. The outer ear consists of the pinna that leads into the external auditory canal. It collects sound wave from a wide area and funnels the sound into the external ear passages. On the inside surface of the outer ear is in the tympanic membrane. It is stretched across the end of the auditory canal, separating the outer ear from the middle ear. The middle ear consists of the small bone called the ossicles. They are the malleus, incus, and stapes. They transfer sound wave to the inner ear. Located covering an opening into the inner ear is called the oval window. Below is other membrane called the round window that stretches across the opening and adjoins the cochlea in the inner ear. The inner ear comprises a coiled structure called the cochlea, the snail-like spiral coiled tube containing the receptor for sound, and the vestibular apparatus that is associated with a sense of balance. The cochlear duct contains the organ of Corti, which contains auditory receptor cells. The auditory nerve transmits sound vibration to the brain. My dear students, that in summary that I want to explain you that about the hearing. First of all, the sound is collected by the pinna, which is funnel-like structure in our head, and the sound wave enter into the tympanic membrane through the inner ear, that is ear ossicles, malleus, incus, and stapes. And after vibrating that three ear ossicles, it enter into the oval window and then the round window and then into the endolymph of the cochlea. Due to the vibration in the endolymph of cochlea, that hearing receptors, hearing sense receptor, which is organ of Corti, transfer the auditory receptors, transfer the hearing into the brain. Now the next function of the ear is to balance our body. Ear helps us to balance our body during the rest and the motion. Now first of all, how it balances during the motion of our body, that is called the dynamic equilibrium. It is the equilibrium at motion. Any change in direction and rotation, movement of the head stimulate the sensory ear by movement of the endolymph. The nerve impulses so produced are conducted to brain through the auditory nerve for necessary response. Now, statical equilibrium, it means the equilibrium at rest. During the time of rest also, our body is balanced by the ear. When any change in the head or body causes the movement of endolymph, which is present in the cochlea, that stimulate the sensory ear, then nerve impulses so produced are conducted to the brain through the auditory nerve for the necessary response. Oh, my dear students, today I explain here about sense organs, mainly the eyes and ear, which is very important for the NEB course. For the 3 marks as well as 1 marks, sometime it will be asked for the long question also. So please prepare well. Have a nice time. Thank you.